Good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of the AEO Speaker Series. As part of the build-up to the AEO National Conference this May, on May the 5th to the 7th in New Orleans, we'll be interviewing presenters who will be leading panels, speaking at different plenary sessions, and interacting with the audience at the AEO Conference. Today, we'd like to welcome Wendy Baumann, the President and CEO of Wisconsin Women's Business Investment Corporation, to our video series. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
So to kick off the interview, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your background and how you ended up at WWBIC?
Sure. Well, actually, this February 2014, I'm celebrating 20 years as being president and CVO of the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation. And I was working in the industry for a technical college and for a private company for a while, but for the technical college, it was a large business incubator and was advancing minority businesses in the heart of Milwaukee. And I came across this organization, WWBIC, which was providing small microloans. And again, 20 years ago, that was still something that was a little bit in the cutting edge, rare area, but it was providing microloans coupled with business education. And I thought, what a great program. And the organization was about 4 years old when they had gone through already about 4 or 5 executive directors. So I tossed my resume in and got excited about it. The board of directors got excited about it. And 20 years ago, it was really me, myself, and I, and a part-time receptionist. And now we're up to 4 offices and 3 virtual rule offices, a staff of nearly 50, a loan portfolio that's peaking $9 million, and continuing to do the great stuff like so many other AEO members in the field of microcredit, microfinance, small business, and business education.
So what does it feel like to be almost a pioneer and having built this incredible program from something that was small to now it's far-reaching and you're affecting, I'd imagine, hundreds of entrepreneurs and micro businesses every year? How did that feel from something so small and you actually had a hand in building this to something great?
Right. Well, small is beautiful. So for the organizations and AEO members that are small and that are 1 or 2 person shop or a handful of people doing meaningful things, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Small is beautiful. So we've not really built WWBIC for the sake of building an empire. It's been based on building and addressing a need. And I believe WWBIC could still really double or maybe triple in size and still not be fully addressing the needs we have here in Wisconsin. So we grew geographically and we also grew deeper. Part of our strategic focus now is not only to continue to put numbers on the board of individuals we care of, individuals that are having harder, challenging conditions, to get access to fair, responsible capital and that quality business education, but we're going a little bit deeper into rural Wisconsin as one of our strategic focuses, and then also working more with our bilingual Spanish-speaking and very low-income populations that we have specifically in Milwaukee and Racine. So those are 2 targeted focuses. So when you have a chance to get a little bit bigger, then you can begin to also target and strategize really on some of the needs within your community. And of course it feels good. It feels good to not only provide, when I came on, the loan portfolio was a dozen loans, to now have almost 400 microloans in our portfolio and putting on a new 150, 160 new loans. Our loans are probably medium size. Our average loan size is about $27,000. So we're not doing the very, very micro. We do some at that level, but our loans go from $1,000 to $100,000 in value.
Very exciting. So you actually just answered 2 or 3 of my next questions. So thank you for being so thorough. We'll jump ahead to the conference. How many AEO conferences have you been to?
Well, when I came on board literally 20 years ago, one of the first phone calls I received was from Connie Evans. And she at the time was running WESEP in Chicago, so sister state. And she said, Wendy, this is who I am. I heard about you joining WWBIC, and you need to be a member of AEO. And that day, we became members of AEO. And we have been strong members. We've participated in leadership roles on committees and always been part of the national gathering and conference. I've attended probably 15 of the past 20. Blue Moon, I might be traveling. One time I had a foot operation, I had a cast on, and I didn't want to wobble over there. But I really do try to make it a point to attend. I like to share. I'll be presenting at this one session, but always will have a handful of staff members there to not only learn, to keep up on the industry, to network, which is so vital, and to share experiences that we've had here, being a little bit of an older organization and been around for a little bit.
That's a great answer, and we do thank you for being definitely one of our most engaged and active members, so thank you always for that. Diving into a little bit more specifics, you touched on the networking and some sessions. Is there one or two things that you've taken away from a past conference that really said, I need to be there? We get those generic answers, and we, even in communications and marketing, say that you have to be here, you have to meet people, you have to learn best practices. But is there something a little deeper or more specific? Did you form a partnership by meeting someone there, or something else that you can kind of really say, hey, this is why you have to be here in a month?
Absolutely. I mean, I really think that while you want to attend the sessions, and they're very good and they continue to be strong and good, the plenary sessions as well as the breakout sessions, doing that mingling, doing that networking, and even doing some shout outs, especially at some of those individual sessions, is wonderful, saying that, I've got some ideas around some of these initiatives. If anybody afterwards could meet with me, I'd like to talk with them about that. So doing that open air networking is very helpful. The other thing that I take away from the AEO conferences, and Connie, again, I think does a superior job here, is really laying out some trends and some larger items, looking at some platforms that are going to help the whole industry, trying to be cutting edge, trying to look at, a couple years ago it was, should we be more in the space of green businesses? Should we be more in the space of buy local campaigns? And bringing individuals on who are leading those efforts that are not totally within the industry of microcredit and microfinance, but that fringe with the industry. That I find very helpful. After that, I go back to Wisconsin and go like, what are we doing with our buy local campaigns? What's happening? Do we have that? Well, because of that, literally 2 years ago, we're doing tremendous work with our buy local campaigns. By Dane County, like Racine Local, Milwaukee, I forgot what it's called, but it's this great piece in Milwaukee. So we're doing that in all of our markets, and I'm not sure I would have done that if I wouldn't have attended AEO. It just became front and center on our sphere of influence and thought.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for, again, putting a face to attendees and really telling people why they need to be there. You'll be on a panel, as you alluded to earlier, titled Leading with Women for a Full and Robust Economy. Can you give the potential attendees and the attendees a little teaser of what you'll be talking about and focusing on during that session?
Well, I already know it's a top-rated session. It's going to be great. How could it not? The title is Leading with Women, Leading for Women. How could it not? More and more this past year, I felt specifically with that very provocative report that came out from Maria Shriver, the Shriver Report on Poverty, that really looked at the women's economic piece within that and did an excellent job on the 50-year, quote, anniversary of, quote, the war on poverty. So that really brought a light to me, and I was sharing that again with the good folks like Connie and so on. And I think that we need to look at the women's piece within the field of microenterprise even more. Again, the disparity continues if it doesn't even get in some cases worse. If you just look generically, women on board of directors, women in the executive suite, it's still a snail's pace movement that we're doing. Women's access to capital, women's issues with equal pay. Now, those are all the things where the glass is not full and the glass is, if you will, half empty. But a solution to this, one of the solutions is microfinance, is women in business, is advancing women in business, is the creation of jobs, it's women's education. And again, our role as microlenders and in microfinance is around that economic development piece, around that asset building piece. But we do need to tease out and be clear that women in many cases are falling behind in some areas and are not where they need to be, and we need to use the tools that we have. And we also, as leaders in the microfinance industry, need to shout out and need to call out the disparity that's there and provide solutions. So I was thrilled when AEO wanted to have me share a few comments about solutions that we all know. What are solutions? Women's business centers. What are solutions? Microlenders. What are solutions? CDFIs. That focus on women often, that focus on low income, that embrace families as part of the picture, that are not single sources and silos in dealing with parts of individuals, but are dealing with them overall. I was also pleased after that blog, I got thinking and I thought, I need to send this out locally. So I sent it to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. It was on the cover of this most recent editorial page in the Sunday paper. So, we also, part of what I'd like to instill here is not only take on the fight for microfinance, but we can take on a broader piece in advancing things out there, but providing the solutions for it.
It's very exciting. And touching on that, you are constantly sending us all these incredible stories about accomplishments and what the great things that both WWBIC is doing as well as your clients. How do you really develop these relationships to get coverage of these stories and what you're doing that's so exciting in the micro and small business world? Right.
Well, the media, the fourth source, as they say, or the fourth power, I still feel that our industry does not use media like they need to and like they should. Not only does it help these small businesses to put them out front and center in the media, be that social media, local papers, community papers, radio shows, blogs, TV, all of that. But we can sell our work by putting successful clients and our loan clients and clients taking our education front and center. So we're media hounds. We worry if we're not in the media every single week. And we think these stories are so great. I was doing some house visits just last week, and I was in Congresswoman Gwen Moore's office, and I gave the rundown, and I showed the media, and I showed our statistics, and last year, and she goes, well, aren't you just the good news people? Because we are. Yeah. We in microfinance are the good news people, and news needs to be heard every day, as they say, 7/24, 24/7, 365. So again, while I won't be doing a session on that, I cannot share how important it is to consistently, constantly get information out to your local media sources on the success of the beautiful people and businesses that you're working with. On the 100th loan you've made this year, on the whatever IDA that you've been able to close for a business or a new home ownership, on the individual that sold the fastest, did the most, is doing something unusual. There's stories every single day that we see here, and we really need to get those out in the media, because we are the solution people. We're the good news people.
That's very inspiring, Wendy. Thank you for that message, and we're going to make sure all of our PR, marketing, communications, and media relations people throughout our network will get that message loud and clear. So let's close this with a few fun questions. Being that we're in New Orleans in the beginning of May again for this year's conference, do you have a favorite delicacy, a Southern delicacy or a New Orleans specific delicacy you're looking forward to eating?
Well, I'll start with my drink first. Everybody has to have a Sazerac, because the Sazerac is the classic New Orleans drink. And if you want to have the best Sazerac in town, it's at the bar at our nose, right in the district. So that's fabulous. Now, I said that to everybody, and I probably won't be able to get a seat in the bar than myself, but it's this beautiful restaurant that has this beautiful bar called Our Nose Sazeracs. So that's your drink. I'm not sure about that colorful hurricane stuff. I don't do those kind of drinks. In terms of food, I am a vegetarian, but I do eat seafood, so of course I'm in the perfect town for that. But the shrimp are unbelievable. You know, oysters are great. There's a place called Acme Oyster House just on the edge also of the district, and so that's great. But to me, it's really the seafood. The shrimp specifically, I absolutely love. Those are some of my favorites.
Thanks for the local insight. I'm sure there will be people there now trying your drink and your food of choice. And anything around town, it sounds like you've been at least once before. Anything around town that you're looking forward to see or do while you're there as well?
Yeah, I really like hanging in the Quarter. You know, it's just a beautiful place. The music is wonderful. The people are wonderful. Just, you know, looks so beautiful along the water area is gorgeous. You know, it's just a very vibrant city. I mean, taking the little trolley is a fun thing if you haven't been there before. But I think walking around in the district is, you know, just beautiful. I have taken the very hard tours, and I'm sure those are still available after the horrific, hurricanes there, and seeing, you know, areas that are so blighted. But if you have the time, that's something to do. It's not a happy thing to do. But again, we need to be part of the solution to an area that, you know, really receives so much physical damage, and how we can be a part of, you know, helping those communities and helping those individuals come back, because it's a slow recovery. I took the tour one year, maybe it was about 9 months after the hurricane, and that was hard enough. But what was harder was when I went back a year later and took almost the same tour on the bus, and so little had changed. That's what was hard.
All right, so Wendy, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this, and I think that we're going to see some registration uptake, I think, from the message that you're giving to everybody. They're going to want to be there to meet you, to be on your, or watch your panel, and to just network with the rest of our members across the country. Is there a closing message you would like to leave the AEO membership and network across the country with?
I think that if you're going to be a piece of the industry, you need to be a part of the industry, and you need to be not only attending the AEO conference, but you need to be a member of AEO and an active member yourself, your team, your staff. It's so important to build our industry. AEO has a long-standing history of great support. I think they do great things, but they have greater promise if we're all a part of it.
Wendy, I definitely could not have said it any better myself. So again, thank you for your time. And for listeners out there, let's hope that we see all of you on May 5th through the 7th in New Orleans. We're going to have a great time eating the local food, maybe trying that Sazerac with Wendy at the bar, as well as just learning from peers and learning the best practices and really creating strong partnerships and new thoughts and ideas that will come out through the conference. So thank you very much again, Wendy, and we'll see you in a month.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.